The storm had just broken. Wind still hissed through the drenched countryside as Ethan Brooks steered his old pickup down the narrow road. The sky hung heavy with clouds, the earth soaked in silver light. He'd just finished a long night shift at the mechanic shop, the kind that drained both body and soul. Through his fogged windshield, he almost missed her, a tiny figure standing alone by the roadside, her red shoes sunk in mud, her arms hugging herself against the cold. He slammed the brakes. The truck skidded slightly before stopping. Ethan jumped out, rain soaking his jacket in seconds. Hey, are you all right?" he shouted over the wind. The little girl turned, her hazel eyes wide with fear. Her pink dress was torn and covered in dirt, her hair tangled and wet. In a trembling whisper, she said, I can't find my mommy." Those 6 words hit him harder than thunder. Something in her voice cracked open a piece of his heart he thought had died long ago. Without another thought, he knelt, wrapped his old jacket around her small shoulders, and whispered, "It's okay, sweetheart. You're safe now. I'll help you find her." She nodded slowly, tears mixing with rain. Back in his truck, Ethan turned on the heater. She sat quietly beside him, clutching the jacket. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Lily," she said softly. Mommy's car went boom. Then fire. Then I ran. Ethan's pulse spiked. He flicked on the radio. Local news crackled through the static. Breaking story. A luxury car accident on Highway 47. 1 woman missing, presumed swept into the river. No names yet. No survivors confirmed. Ethan gripped the steering wheel, staring at the sleeping child beside him. He didn't know her, but something deep inside whispered, "Don't leave her alone." His modest wooden house sat on the outskirts of town, small but filled with quiet warmth. He carried Lily inside, made her cocoa, and wrapped her in a blanket. When she smiled faintly at the warmth, he felt something he hadn't in years, peace. You see, 3 years ago, Ethan had lost his own daughter, Emma, to leukemia. Since that day, laughter had vanished from his home. But now this child's gentle presence filled the silence again. He told himself it was just for the night, until he could call the police. But when she whimpered in her sleep, crying for her mother, he couldn't bring himself to send her away. Just one night, he whispered to himself. One night to keep her safe. Morning came with sunlight pouring through the curtains. Lily sat at the kitchen table, watching Ethan flip pancakes. When he tossed one too high and it splattered against the counter, she giggled, a sound so pure it made him laugh too. It was the first real laughter in years. Days turned into a week. Ethan finally reported Lily's presence to the local sheriff, but no one called back. Small-town departments were slow, and the city accident case seemed out of their reach. Meanwhile, Lily had made herself at home, playing with Emma's old toys, painting little pictures, running barefoot in the yard. Every night, Ethan tucked her in, his chest tightening when she whispered, "Good night, Daddy Ethan." He'd correct her softly, "Just Ethan." But inside, those words warmed the coldest corners of his soul. Then came the day that shattered his quiet peace. A sharp knock echoed at his door. When he opened it, 2 men in black suits stood outside beside gleaming cars. "Mr. Ethan Brooks?" "Yes. We're with the Hale Foundation Security Division. You're in possession of a missing child, Rebecca Hale's daughter." Ethan froze. Behind him, Lily peeked out, clutching his sleeve. One of the men softened his tone. "We're not here to cause trouble. Mrs. Hale has been searching for her nonstop since the accident." Before Ethan could speak, another car pulled up, a sleek black SUV. The door opened and Rebecca Hale stepped out. Even through her exhaustion, she carried a quiet grace. Her hands trembled. Her eyes, red from sleepless nights, widened the moment they found Lily. "Lily," she breathed. Her voice broke. She fell to her knees, tears spilling as Lily ran into her arms. "Mommy!" The sight hit Ethan like a wave, relief, joy, and heartbreak all at once. He turned away, blinking hard. Rebecca looked up, her voice shaking. "You saved her, didn't you?" Ethan shrugged. "Just did what anyone would have done." She shook her head. "No, not anyone. Most would have walked away. You cared." Her men explained everything. How Ethan had reported the girl, but never received a reply. Rebecca's eyes softened. I can't thank you enough, she said, reaching into her bag. Ethan stopped her gently. You don't owe me anything. Just take her home. He thought that was the end. 3 days later, another knock came. This time, Rebecca stood alone. No guards, no cars. Just her, holding a small wooden box. May I come in? Inside, she looked around his humble home, the warmth, the scent of coffee, the faint laughter still lingering in the walls. Lily talks about you constantly, she said with a small smile. About the man who made her pancakes and told her bedtime stories about the stars. Ethan smiled faintly. She's special. Rebecca nodded and opened the box. Inside was a framed photograph, a man holding a baby. That's my husband, she said softly. He died 3 years ago. Plane crash. Lily was all I had left. Ethan's chest tightened. He understood that pain, losing everything, yet still trying to breathe. Then Rebecca's tone shifted. There's something you need to know about Lily. Ethan frowned. What do you mean? She took a shaky breath, eyes glistening. Before my husband died, he told me something. He wasn't sure, but Lily might not be biologically ours. We'd used a donor. Ethan blinked, confused. Rebecca slid a folded paper across the table. I got the DNA results back last week. He opened it and froze. The words blurred before his eyes. His name, his genetic ID, his donor file. Rebecca whispered, Ethan, you're Lily's biological father. Silence. Only the clock ticked softly between them. Ethan stared at her, speechless. His chest rose and fell like he'd forgotten how to breathe. That can't be, he murmured. Rebecca's eyes were kind, tearful. 8 years ago, you donated once, right? To pay for your mother's surgery? That was you. I traced it back. It's real. Ethan's hands trembled as he looked at the paper again. The laughter, the way Lily called him Daddy Ethan. It all made sense now. Tears welled in his eyes. She's my daughter. Rebecca nodded, her own tears falling. Yes, she is. I didn't tell you right away because I wasn't sure how you'd feel. But when I saw how she looked at you, I knew she already felt it. Ethan couldn't speak. He just smiled weakly through the blur of tears. I thought I'd lost my chance at being a father, he whispered. Maybe you just got a second one, Rebecca said softly. Months passed. Rebecca and Lily visited every weekend. They'd paint together, go fishing, laugh until the sun dipped behind the hills. Lily called him Dad Ethan now, giggling every time. Rebecca would watch from the porch, a quiet peace finally returning to her eyes. One evening, as fireflies lit the dusk, Ethan and Rebecca stood side by side watching Lily chase the glowing lights. You know, Rebecca said quietly, I thought I'd never love anyone again after losing my husband, but maybe life has a way of returning what we thought was gone forever. Ethan smiled faintly, his gaze on Lily. Maybe this was meant to be. As the night sky filled with stars, Lily looked up and whispered, Dad, do you think that's where angels live? Ethan knelt beside her, his eyes glistening. No, sweetheart. I think the stars are love, shining to remind us it never really fades. The camera pans upward, to the stars, to the quiet beauty of second chances, and the soft echo of a little girl's laughter. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to HOA Chronicles, where every story reminds us that even in life's darkest storms, kindness and fate can still light the way home.